I've coached hundreds of cybersecurity beginners who felt stuck. In this video, you'll finally learn how to stop overthinking and get real progress. If you're stuck between choosing the right career path and you also don't know what certifications to do, this video is for you. I'll strip it down into 3 clear things: fundamentals, 1 job focus, and a clear roadmap. Hi, my name's AJ. I've been in cybersecurity for the last 10 years. And on this channel, I teach all things cybersecurity for beginners, so let's get into it. Quite easy to overthink in cybersecurity because there's so many pathways and careers out there. Cybersecurity is quite a broad term as well. Within cybersecurity, there are many different job areas. You've got blue team, red team, you've got cloud security, threat intelligence. How do you know which one is for you? And because of this, it's going to result in you overthinking. And don't worry, I've done it myself. I still overthink now when it comes to cybersecurity. And a lot of the students that I've spoken with, the people who I speak with through social media, when they're trying to get into cybersecurity, they're often very much overthinking the process. And it's not their fault and it's not your fault. The reason is that the cybersecurity training industry has got quite complicated, and of course because there's new roles that are always being created, it's hard to know which one to go into as a beginner. So you're not alone if you're overthinking trying to get into cybersecurity. So the main takeaway is that you can't learn everything. It is impossible to learn everything in cybersecurity. What you want to do, and what I'm going to show you now, is how to build a dedicated pathway towards one job role. And if there's any key takeaway from this video, focus on one job and learn the skills related to that job. Let me show you what that looks like in a pathway with defined certifications and defined things to actually learn. So first of all, you always need to build your foundations in computer networking. Now, networks underpin everything in cybersecurity because ultimately cybersecurity is about defending networks. So you do need to start to understand the fundamentals of networking, and I think a great certification for that is CompTIA Network Plus, and also the hands-on labs as well, because you're not only getting the theory, you're also getting some practical skills there as well. And this certification is not only good for the knowledge, it's also what employers are actually asking for. So if you start to look at cybersecurity job descriptions, you will see this certification is often listed there as kind of a minimum these days. So definitely look at building your foundation using CompTIA Network Plus to learn those networking fundamentals. So next up then is CompTIA Security Plus, and what this is going to help you do, as you can see here, is build the cybersecurity fundamentals. So it's going to help you build on top of the learnings that you've done in CompTIA Network Plus. There's actually a lot of crossover in these certifications as well. I think something like 50% of the content from CompTIA Security Plus is also covered in Network Plus. So it's really good if you can actually try and do these certifications quite close together, and it can allow you to actually pass the exams in quite close concession as well. So CompTIA Security Plus is going to help you understand the kind of common language that is in cybersecurity, help you understand some of the kind of well-known tools that are out there, for example. One thing that these certifications don't do, they're not dedicated towards a specific job role, which is what the next step is. But the best thing about these certifications is they are very, very good at helping you build the foundations, but they're also certifications that employers are actually looking for. So having these on your resume and your CV is going to help it flag up in these application tracking systems, and it's also going to help it flag up with recruiters as well. So once you've done that, then this is where we suggest picking a job role. So like I said, the main takeaway from this video is to pick one job role and focus on that job role, because this is going to help you stop overthinking and just focus on the plan that you need. And this is where, have a think about what you actually want to do. The role that I suggest is that of a cybersecurity analyst or SOC analyst or some kind of blue teamer defender style role. The reason for that is usually there's a lower barrier of entry often. It's not easy, but it is often easier to go into a blue team style role rather than more of a red team style role. I personally started as a cybersecurity SOC analyst 10 years ago. I now work as a senior cybersecurity analyst who focuses on incident response, and many of these skills are the things that I'm doing on a daily basis. So this is why I'm recommending them, and that's why I'm suggesting becoming a cybersecurity analyst, because it is the easier transition into cybersecurity. So to do this, then you want to focus on the skills related to that job. The first one is SIEM, that stands for Security Information Event Management Tool. And effectively, if you imagine a network, on that network you've got devices, laptops, servers, firewalls, etc. They will send the logs to a SIEM. Microsoft Sentinel is a very well-known one, and a lot of job descriptions are asking for experience with this. That SIEM has a set of rules, often called correlation rules or detection rules. And in those rules, they're going to be looking for malicious activity in these logs. You then, if it does detect malicious activity, it'll generate alerts for the analyst to review. And it'll be up to you then to escalate this as an active cyber attack or an incident, or you'll be closing it out as a false positive, which means that the rule fired incorrectly, and you just need to be able to improve that rule for next time so that we get more high fidelity and better detection. So this is a really good thing that you need to look into. AI and automation. So this is a big part of cybersecurity now. I need to understand how AI and automation is being integrated into security operation centers. I would recommend looking at tools like Tines, for example, which are workflow automation tools that have been specifically designed for security operation centers. You can see this page here, which is Tines with Elastic. So this is showing Elastic and Tines. So Elastic is another SIEM solution, and Tines, like I said, is a workflow automation tool that can sit on top of a SIEM and provide kind of automation and detection. I'll link at the end of this video with a project where I show you exactly how to set up Elastic and actually generate alerts and use Tines to actually provide alert summaries via email. That's a project that I can link at the end of this video, but you can set that up for free. So this is a really great experience that you can build to actually get experience with the SIEM and also with Tines as well, which is a workflow automation tool. So then instant response is what you want to look into. So a great plan for that framework is the SANS instant response plan. What this does, it details the steps that you need to take to prepare for an incident, to identifying it, all the way to recovering and learning lessons from it. So understanding this plan is really, really good. It's like where I mentioned with the SIEM solution. Let's say that you need to escalate it as an active cyber attack. You'll then be moving on to actually use this plan to ultimately be able to recover and actually contain that incident as well. So this is another area that I do recommend looking into. Cloud attack and defense. So you need to start to understand how attackers are attacking the cloud, how to actually defend against it, for example. And you can use something like the MITRE ATT&CK framework, which has their cloud framework, which details the steps that an attacker will take to compromise a cloud platform, but it also gives mitigation techniques as well that I recommend you look into. That goes the same for attack types and defense techniques. You can use the MITRE ATT&CK framework. You can start to understand your kind of phishing-based attacks, your network-based attacks, for example. This is going to help you understand not only how attackers think, but it's also going to help you defend against these attacks as well, which is hugely important if you want to be a cybersecurity professional, and especially in the blue teamer style role. Then you've got your detection rules. So they're either called detection rules, correlation rules. They're inside the SIEM. When you start to get experience with the SIEM, start to look into these detection rule queries. There's actually a good resource on Elastic where they've got this pre-built rule guide. So these are rules that actually could be important into Elastic. And for example, this is the name of the security use case, AWS Management Console Root Login. And then it also gives you an idea of what this actually is all about and actually how to investigate it. So this is hugely important when you're going into a blue team. You need to understand that there's different types of security use cases out there, but you also need to understand how to actually respond to them as well. And you could also see in here that you've got the rule query. So understanding query language in a SIEM, being able to build these detection rules to look for malicious activity is also a hugely important skill that I recommend you learn as well. Then you want to look into threat intelligence and threat hunting. So threat intelligence is using open source information to understand the latest attacker techniques. And then threat hunting then is often using this intelligence to search across a customer's network, more kind of proactively searching for threats. So often what you'll be doing here is usually building detection rules to search across all of the logs that you have to be actively searching for threats related to the threat intelligence that you've actually pinpointed and gathered in this stage. Then you want to look into analysis tooling. So CompTIA Security Plus is going to give you a lot of information on this, understanding your firewalls, your network intrusion detection systems, and every other device that you can think of that sits on a network that can help a cybersecurity professional defend it and actually detect malicious activity. These are the kind of things you want to start to learn. And then finally, customer service. The reason I put this on here, the best companies and where I personally started is in a managed security service company. And these companies are really good to work for because often they usually are lower paying, which doesn't maybe doesn't sound that good, but what that does allow you to do is get in there and actually gain experience. And then if they are lower paying, you can always use that experience and then move on to another company who is paying more than they are. But that's something to look into. One of the things with customer service in cybersecurity is just detail complex technical issues in a simplified way, and that'll be a great way for you then to be able to actually talk with customers and actually speak with them, and especially when managing incidents as well. That's some really good advice that I can give you. Then when you're on this step, then it's your home projects. So your home projects need to relate to each one of these areas. So like I said, I'm going to link a video at the end about setting up your own SIEM and doing AI and automation. But effectively, each one of these projects needs to relate to each one of these areas. Now, I do have a free community as well, and also a link in the description where you can jump on a free call with myself, and we can actually tailor this plan to where you currently are. And then once you get to the stage where either if you've booked a call or not, it'll direct you to my free community. And in that free community, it will look like this, and you've got these Cyber Labs hands-on practice labs, and in here then we've got many different labs that not only I have created, but also some of our community members have created as well. And like I said, this is completely free. It's called Cyber Hub. It's run by us who are Empirical Training. There's 4 of us who run it in total. There's 12,300 other members in here, and like I said, link in the description where you can jump on a call with myself, and we can run through this tailored plan for you, and then you can also access this community. So if you're interested in that, then the link is in the description. But effectively, these projects are what are going to give you the experience. These first 3 here are what are going to help you get interviews, and then this one then is what's going to actually help you get that experience. Once you've done that, then you're going to be setting up your CV and your resume. Make sure you're detailing everything that you've done here. All of your certifications, all of your skills need to be detailed here, and then ultimately then you'll land that first job as a cybersecurity analyst or some kind of blue team role, and then you can look to specialize further into, let's say, maybe your cloud security, or maybe you want to go into red teaming, for example, or maybe dedicated threat intelligence. The kind of world's your oyster once you've landed that first job and you've got experience. But I hope this will help you stop overthinking cybersecurity, because there is a lot of information out there, and what I'm trying to do here is just reduce down that information to only what you need. And like I said, the main thing that you want to focus on is just picking that one job role and focusing on that. And the thing with overthinking, especially in cybersecurity, see overthinking as a lack of direction and not a lack of intelligence. So don't think, oh, I can't get into cybersecurity because there's so much information out there, I'm not smart enough. That's not the case. What the case is that you just need a dedicated plan, like I've shown you, tailored to where you currently are, so that then you can just focus on that. And once you forget about everything else, you're going to stop overthinking, and you're just going to start taking action on that pathway, and it's going to increase the chances then that you're ultimately going to land that cybersecurity job by blocking everything out. So to conclude then, you now know how to stop overthinking when it comes to getting into cybersecurity. And remember, the main takeaway, pick one job and focus on the skills and projects related to that job and build a pathway around that job. And now, I mentioned in the video, if you want to look at an AI cybersecurity project where I show you how to set up Elastic SIEM and use Tines as a kind of AI and automation to provide summaries and send emails to an analyst to review, I recommend you go and watch this video next. I want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you over there.